Hey guys, I'm gonna bust up this small piece of Georgetown. It's just an awkward shape, and I'm gonna try and get a core. I'm gonna get a core out of it, but I'd also like to get some tools, because at the very least, this core could only be like 4 inches long, if that. So I bet I could get at least 4 arrowheads out of this, if not a lot more than that. But 4 decent sized pieces. I'll be happy if I get 2, because it looks like there's a lot of cracks in this. So it's kind of a crappy piece of Georgetown. I mean, the quality of the rock is probably really good, but it's beat up. It's a bad shape. If you can, pick out your rocks in person, but if you can't, then you just gotta settle for what you can get offline. But you can see there's cracks all in this thing. And this rock probably cost, I don't know, at least $5. By the pound, weighs a couple pounds. So, anyways, no use in being bummed. Might as well just spall this puppy out. So I got leather on my leg. I'm gonna use a little bit of freehand. I like to spall in my hand if I can. Alright, let's do this. I'm gonna hit right here, knock it off right here. That was a little fast on my swing speed, but we got a nice little piece out of that. A lot of cortex, but sometimes up by the cortex you get this white color, and it makes a really pretty little arrowhead. So we got arrowhead there, and we cleaned off some of the cortex on this piece. And you know what? This might not be as banged up as I thought. Maybe all that smack talking was for nothing. By the way, I get all my Georgetown, or at least most of it, from Curtis Smith, and he has some incredible stuff. Like this piece he just threw in to a separate box, and he was on the road, and I wasn't specifically ordering Georgetown, but man, I have a honking piece somewhere around here. But he sent me a bunch of nice stuff. Like, check this out. I'll spall this up on camera at some point. This is a nice piece. Solid. Really pretty. It's going to have a nice blue, dark blue color to it. Makes me feel like I'm hitting a pebble with this thing. This is all raw. Take a few little baby taps off of this to get rid of some convexity. Okay. I'm going to hit high on this one, and I'm going to give a nice slow swing speed. So I'm going to hit up here. Shoot. Okay. I'd like to hit from the other side, to be honest with you guys, so I'm going to take another flake off the base. That was just a small one. Alright. Thing with this Georgetown, if you haven't hit it before, is it's covered in this super thick chalk cortex. Like, check this out. It's chalk. It's like full-on huge layer of chalk, so you can even hit on the edge of this chalk and you won't get a flake. So if you hit on the cortex, you're going nowhere. So you always want to clean the cortex off when you can. And so sometimes skinning a rock, especially some of this Georgetown, you can get some of this cool white colored stuff up by the so I'm going to hit right here. It's kind of a funky little platform, but let's see what happens. Dang, I broke the flake because I wasn't supporting it well. That's too bad. But get an arrowhead out of this. I'll do a video, and maybe I'll even get an arrowhead out of this. You might be calling BS, but seriously, I'll do a video on working funky shape stuff. But you know, if you can't, like, I'll use this to scrape a hide, or do some engraving in one of my atlatls, or or bows, signing stuff, or carving into rock, all kinds of cool things. So those chunks are definitely not full-on waste flake. So now we've got a little bit of a biface going here. going to, this is a square edge, but I'm going to take a little baby flake off of that. These are especially cool because you can use them as little saws, and I have my students use them to make bow drill kits and stuff. Okay, so now we got, I kind of trapped that flake so it didn't go all the way, but now we got this nice little platform angle so we can skin this other face. So I'm going to take some nice shots into here. That'll be a nice little point if I don't ding it up too bad, but we can clean this up and make something narrow out of it. It's got a square edge again, a lot of problems, but we'll make something out of that. Again, this is just, you know, we're just trying to get a few flakes off of this ball before we make a point out of this. So as far as I'm concerned, we've already got 3 usable pieces, I think, or something like that. It's better than one. When I was first starting out, I'd hit on these things and end up with a pile of small flakes, and now I'm all about getting the big stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna try, oh, that side's all cortexy. Ooh, might be able to get one down the middle here. Let's see. That angle's not great, but I'm going to hit above it. You can see it's pretty steep, but I'm going to hit above it, and there's a nice ridge, so. Oh, I missed it. That sucks. Whatever. I just isolated it. That's what I meant to do, that I isolated it. Just kidding. Okay. Actually, we can take a little bit of a, there we go. Now we got a much nicer angle. Okay, so this will be our last ball, I think. Again, didn't quite hit it dead on, but this will make a nice little arrowhead for a hunting point or something like that. So I'm gonna say we're pretty good here. I don't think that we have any other great opportunities to reduce this thing. Maybe one baby spall off the base here, but no. Might as well switch to a smaller hammerstone and start doing reduction. There's like a small blade. Throw that in the toolkit for students. We do these primitive overnights, or I do. One of the companies I work with, Adventure Out, and it's a class I designed, and I try and bring these types of stone flakes of raw cherts and flints so that we can use these as our tools. But this is something you could flake a drill bit out of, a really nice drill bit. This raw Georgetown is really hard, so you could flake a killer drill out of this and haft it to a hand drill, or even a bow drill. Do some amazing work. I've actually drilled holes for my fingers and my atlatls with drills made with stone, as well as friction via like wood. So I guess we're now doing a napping video on this raw piece of Georgetown with hammerstone reduction. One thing I've been seeing in a trend, and I'm about to turn this